What's poppin'? Everybody, how we doing? Another day, another stream. Outlier.bet utilizing today an amazing sports betting tool, player prop research, arbitrage, positive EV. And we are deep in the weeds of the NFL season already. I don't care that it's only week 2. To me, that is all I need to get excited. Talking to a colleague yesterday about how it really is crazy how once the calendar turns and that first NFL game kicks off, as much as I love baseball, one of my favorite um, sports, like honestly, probably like I think I like baseball more than football, but like once NFL season is officially underway, it's game over. Had a fantastic week. This past week, Monday night on stream with Ty, we cooked. We missed out on some long shots. We hit more long shots to make money. We had JJ McCarthy touchdown. That was awesome. Jordan Mason, rushing leader, was also a nice hit. We used a boost on that. And let's run it back. So a little bit of insight on the stream schedule. I'm streaming tonight, streaming tomorrow, streaming Friday, as well as Sunday. So make sure you're following on X. But if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, hit that follow button, get notifications going, because I have a ton of streaming to do. We have a ton of football to talk. We will have a bet to the cash. So thinking about how I want to go about Wednesday streams. Now, I do have already my numbers for the games. I've already made some bets for the games. We'll talk about those if they're available. We'll find some player props for Outlier. But since we have all week, right? Of course, tomorrow I'm streaming, going to be going over the Thursday night game in more detail. What I want to do for Wednesday streams is go over the entirety of the board, maybe lock in some early value if applicable. We have a lot of prop lines up now, which will actually help us get some early value as some of these lines are definitely going to mature over the course of the week, so we can lock in early. But I want to go through every game on Wednesday, kind of high level, see what we have from injury news and what we have going on, lock in some bets, and then Thursdays will be focusing specifically on that Thursday night matchup as hard as we can. Fridays will be a mixture of all sports. Sundays will, of course, be a full NFL run through every single play that we didn't lock in. But the goal, again, for right now, and I'll stop spewing, is to find some bets for this week, go over some of the stuff I played, and just give some holistic thoughts on all of the games, because NFL season's already here, brothers. Like I've already made some bets for week 2. I already locked in some game lines. I already have like my opinions formulated on all these games. So I'm going to start in the games tab with Outlier and kind of go through the matchups here. I love Outlier's player prop and game line research. With that being said, some of their game line research, utilizes a lot of like hit rates and stuff like that. So not my favorite way to bet anything NFL related, because nothing that happened last year really does matter. But I have a play. Let me get one quick promo out. I have a play in the Thursday night one. Now, if you guys know me, you know I'm a Commander fan, and I promise this is not a biased pick, but I bet the Commies plus the 3.5. It looks like that hook is going away, and I will gladly explain if you guys want to fade me and call me biased. Feel free. But let's look at this matchup here. So, of course, you have Green Bay coming off a massive win against Detroit, but something that was really talked about a lot this offseason and definitely held true through 1 week is that the Lions are going to struggle with losing 2 defensive coordinators. Now, a lot of people saw that as like lazy analysis, I think, but it's just facts, right? Like you don't have your best 2 guys who led your entire team from a leader of men standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, and they're gone. And you're trying to replace that in short time, especially with a defense that was really punching above its weight class from like a talent level. Aaron Glenn really deserves a lot of credit, though I think he is a little bit overrated of a coach. But that being aside, he does deserve credit for what he did for the Lions defense and making them, more than respectable. But on that same note, Ben Johnson was one of the best offensive minds in the sport. And while Ben Johnson, we can, debate how it's going to do with the Bears, and we're going to, of course, talk about them and their little debacle on Monday night. But I was bearish on him as a coach, but he was clearly a great offensive coach, and they clearly had some great results with him at the helm. But going back to, of course, the matter at hand here, Washington beat up a crappy Giants team. They didn't look good, and they still won so convincingly, which is really a sign of a great team. Giants can easily be a 4-win team this season, but I don't think they're that bad. I've talked about this on stream before. Like Russ is definitely like cooked to a degree, but he had no time. The Commanders were running stunts. They were getting after him, and their corners were playing lockdown ball. So I actually got the plus 3.5 at plus 105. Minus 105. But I got some prices. FanDuel with a 120, MGM still with a 115. I think it's definitely still playable at 115. Let's add this to our bet slip here and use Outlier, which is an amazing feature. As you can pull directly up the bets that you are trying to make. You can have one-click integration with these plays, and this 3.5 115 is definitely playable. I got a 108, which is fine. But that's my first best bet of the week from a game line perspective is Commies plus 3.5. Everyone and their mother is predicting the Packers to win this game, and they are the class of the NFC. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the Packers are better than the Commanders, though not as good as the Eagles. But I don't think the market has truly priced in how much better Washington is than they were last year. As a Washington fan, I did not have any hope going into that Lions game. Of course, as a massive dog, I didn't have any hope going to that Tampa game. But Jane Daniels really is something special, and at this point, the difference is the defense, right? Like, they have a true shutdown corner in Lattimore. Sanders still is a great second-year player. Trey Amos has been playing well in that secondary. And they also have three guys up front now with Dietrich Wise, Javon Kinlaw, Deron Payne, who they've had for a minute. Who are like actual really great run stoppers and really good players. And like while they lack that star player, that star power per se, along their defensive line, I don't think that is really like a problem. I think that they just have a really good unit in that front. And I think the Lions are actually a lot worse than we think this year. And like while it comes off as an impressive win, week 2 is always tough as it is like an overreaction week. But I think the Commanders are actually getting undervalued at this point. And Jaden Daniels is that guy. They have the weapons. Green Bay defense looked good against Detroit, though. Again, like Jared Goff, we know how bad Jared Goff has been without, Ben Johnson or Sean McVay. So it shouldn't be that surprising to see how poorly Goff kind of played, as well as that offense. And of course, the divisional aspect there, the history, they know the tendencies, and LaFleur is a hell of a coach. So give me all the Washington here. I bet the 3.5. I locked in. It's still good at MGM, which we pulled up a hot second ago. But I bet Washington plus 3.5. Like I mentioned, got a lot of people following the stream. So first of all, thank you guys all for hopping in. But do want to confirm that the way we're going to do is we're going to go through every game kind of holistically, high level. If I don't have a play just yet, that doesn't mean I won't have one on stream tomorrow. So we'll be talking about these games all week long, but focusing on what we bet first. Then we'll go into some player prop stuff as well as some EV because Outlier's got a really nice EV feature they've been working on and continuing to develop there. But on the board right now, I already have it written down in my bet slips because I played it. But Washington plus 3.5. I think the move is to go to whatever we played so far. Like Bears Lions. Like I have my numbers. I think that this game is actually pretty on point. I think Caleb Williams is bad, and I've been on that prior before. But I think the Lions are actually also just bad. This under is already attractive to me, but I'm not going to spend too much time on games where I don't have fully fleshed out thoughts. But if you guys have any questions in chat, feel free to drop them in and I'll go over them. But right here, number 2, Dolphins Patriots. I bet the New England Patriots. I got a great price at Novig. I got plus 111. We can pull up Novig's interface as well. Novig is an amazing betting exchange. If you guys are not familiar with Novig, it's awesome. Promo code BetSmart, you get yourself a little bonus there. But I was able to get. Looks like all the liquidity in the market was taken up there, but I was willing to get a plus 111 on the Patriots. Plus 107, 108 here. If 1,900 liquidity is definitely still playable. 107, 9K liquidity. So if you guys are watching in chat, you'll definitely be able to get in on the Patriots. That is the best price available here. But again, like I don't want to overreact, and I don't think I am overreacting. I was talking smack about the Dolphins for a month now, over a month now, when I was doing my streams with Jake, who can't be with us today. He's a Dolphins fan, and I was telling him how I thought his team stunk. I thought that they were a very flawed roster, obviously down on Tua, McDaniel as a coach down as well. Terrible depth along their team, just like not great standout players like whatsoever. And then we saw what happened in Indianapolis. So I think it's easy to say like, all right, Miami is much better, and you don't want to overreact too much to week 1, especially when New England didn't look great either. But I'm of the camp where I am not overreacting. My already strong belief that they were bad was just validated, actually. And now in a matchup where, of course, not like New England was like a good football team by any means or like a world beater, nor do I think that they ever were or are going to be. I think Miami, especially with the injuries, especially with how badly Tua played, especially with the now coaching advantage that the Patriots certainly have over Mike McDaniel, with Vrabel, give me all the New England Patriots. So we're going to go into player props, team props, game props. We're going to get to all of them, but going to go through what I played now and give my thoughts on the games. I'll actually do that while we go through them from the prop screen now that I'm thinking about it. But I'll give out my other play that I bet so far. So currently locked in Commerce plus 3.5. I don't think that is sitting at 3.5 by game time, boys. So I would lock in. Patriots money line, keep your 1.5 points. I bet them on the ML. Plus 108 is definitely fine. And the final thing I've locked in so far, of course, a lot of room to do that, is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm going to keep this one kind of short and sweet here, and I would love any all debate. Don't get me wrong. The Philadelphia Eagles are still the best team in the NFL. I know the Chiefs are coming off a tough loss. They have a very tough, situation in the receiver room with, of course, Rice suspended, Worthy getting banged up, Kelsey being old. Who knows what we have from Hollywood Brown? I know he had a good game, but he's always somebody that can blow up there. You're giving me Patrick Mahomes as an underdog, and yes, that was the situation in the Super Bowl, and they lost, and the Eagles won. But you're giving me Patrick Mahomes as an underdog. I actually got 105 at DK, though this 107 at Novig. Tons of liquidity here. I'm going to have to log in actually and get down on that. If you guys are not using Novig and not familiar with the platform, you can hit me with a DM, but use promo code BetSmart to get started. $25 purchase match. So if you purchase $25 of Novig cash, you get an extra $25 with promo code BetSmart. But sales pitch aside, I mean, like literally look at the price. It's plus 107, which is the best. And if you look through the other books, you have this DK 105, which is still good. Minus 106 at FD, minus 105 MGM, minus 105 MGM, minus 105 365. So enough said, realistically. Best price in market, and it's totally available in 40 plus states. So if you're a state where you're just betting with an offshore kind of guy, you're sleeping if you're not using Novig. But back to the task at hand. Like, to me, it's Patrick Mahomes and the dog. We know that Jalen Carter is going to be playing now, and his absence was definitely felt big time, undoubtedly, considering how the Cowboys had so much success on offense. But I think that actually has more to say about the Cowboys. Don't get me wrong. I have the Eagles my number one rated team in the National Football League, still over Baltimore. I think that they're primed for another run, and a successful one at that, potentially, as I look to repeat here. But I think the Chiefs are a lot better than we saw in week one. All the Mahomes is washed narrative, I think, is moot. I've been a big supporter on stream all summer long of Mahomes' Revenge Tour MVP. And while week one was not a great start, I still think it's in their realm of possibility. The Chiefs did an amazing job moving the football in the second half. Their defense did lock down a little bit. I think they were surprised, like most of us were, about how the Chargers opted to run their offense. We were not expecting Justin Herbert to come out slinging it based on how Roman plays and how Harbaugh coach teams normally go about running offense. So I think it did actually catch Spags and Koba a little bit by surprise. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about them coming back from Brazil, but they do have the extra rest, and Andy Reid with some extra days to figure it out, along with, of course, the quarterback matchup here, and me just, again, at home Arrowhead getting plus money with Mahomes. Obligatory 1-unit bet for me. So the 3 game lines I've played so far, I'm going to hop into some player props and some plus EV stuff here. Commies plus 3.5. Patriots money line plus, I'll call it 107 for this streamer, 108 at Novig, and then Chiefs plus 107 at Novig as well. But let's talk some props here. I haven't done any prop research, and this is what I love about the Wednesday stream in this format, because I'm going to have some opinions on some stuff. We're going to find some stuff using Outlier and see what we can get, and then we're going to, throughout the course of the week, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, lock in everything that we want to bet for the NFL. But let's go game by game for the prop breakdown. Josh Jacobs has scored in 10-plus games. He's minus 162 at Profit X. I wonder what this under is at this point, honestly. I don't think that Josh Jacobs, I mean, thinking about the Commanders and what they do with their big guys up front, and I don't think that they're going to shut down the Packers offense like they did to the Giants, because, of course, it's a much better offense, a lot better quarterback, better receivers, better O-line, etc. EV showing bad fair value of actually plus 147 here. So this is looking at Pinnacle with DVIG. Their unders plus 134, and this is the odds also at Profit X. So using the different DVIG methods, I like using the worst case scenario here, because it's showcasing quite literally the worst calculation to make sure that you're not overconfident in your calcs here, but we are seeing a line of plus 153 is what it should be. So it is giving me a negative expected value here. So I'm not going to lock this in now because we're trying to bet EV, of course, but hold on here. If we have an under at plus 150 at Novig, I mean, if fair is still 153, it's not going to be showing EV, but I'm not convinced that Josh Jacobs' streak continues. I know that, again, the odds are that he's going to be able to get some very short carries here. We look at the, let's pull out the EV chart and bring it back up here. And we just take a look at some of these statistics here. I don't want last 5. I just want 2025. So, of course, he scored. Had 5 red zone rushing attempts in this one. The Packers did a good job of not even needing to get to the red zone, or I mean, deep into the red zone, as in like 5-yard line. They were throwing, some good plays for some touchdowns a little bit deep down the field there. But they had 17 red zone rushing attempts. Jacobs took 5 of them. So he is going to always be that goal line back. Receptions, 1 reception, 1 target, 4 receiving yards. And yeah, he's been on this crazy streak, and the Packers are a pretty run-heavy team here. This is still 2024 data, which I'd love to see some 2025 if possible. Yeah, no running back for the Giants scored a touchdown, but again, we're not comparing the Giants running backs to Josh Jacobs here, as well as the Giants offense either. We have a lot of filters with Outlier here for touchdowns, but I'm not bullish on Jacobs, especially at the odds to score. Like, even a lot of people like to use these juiced, TD guys as potential. They call them like parlay pieces, etc. I'm not seeing it for Jacobs here. I'm actually a fan of some other unders though, especially for like receiving yards. So let's pull up some markets we want to see. And like, Outlier is amazing because they have all the markets, but let's focus in on some of the more common markets. We'll do passing TDs, passing yards, receiving yards, receptions, rushing yards. We have all the attempts as well, actually. We'll do tackles, we'll do touchdowns, of course. And let's go from here. So I'm going to do over only just for this view, but we're going to, of course, be looking at some under if the EV is there. But just for the simplicity, we'll do overs. Now I'm already intrigued. JD5, 225 and a half passing yards. Went over last week against the Giants. Again, much different matchup. And we're seeing some market movement moving up. And we can pull up the real-time odds from Outlier here and showcase the different books and see where the odds have moved. And we're seeing some EV now at Hard Rock at this even money as we currently speak at 720. Washington ran 33 passing plays, so 51% passes. A game where I think they might actually convert a little bit more to the ground game. The Green Bay passing defense, or I should say the defensive line is good, but they have really low on their cornerbacks. If we go back to 2024 here, did hit a 65% clip, but think about who he didn't have. He did not have Deebo Samuel, who had 77 yards in the air and definitely left some yards on the table. Did drop a couple of passes. JD5's a little bit off. He also missed Terry McLaurin on a go ball where he was wide ass open. That was probably going to be like a 50, 60 plus yard touchdown. Ertz had 2 drops. Jalen Lane, the rookie, had a drop. I'm intrigued by Jaden Daniels' rushing yards here. B365, 110 is the best odds, but at plus 114 here. Let's see. We have the diploid here, so you can click on the odds over on Outlier if you're not familiar, and it pulls up, goes right into your bet slip right here. JD5, 225 and a half passing yards. I am absolutely intrigued by that, and I think that's good enough to honestly lock in right now. I see it going up. As we saw a big jump from open. I don't think that gets brought back down. I think it actually sits there. So let me get my my tracking sheet here. Those of you who saw on stream Monday, we absolutely cooked, and who saw on Sunday, we got ourselves a freaking day. So I'm going to write down 9-10 Wednesday stream because I'm going to be referencing the plays that I play all season long, or all week long, and of course all season long as well. But JD5, 225.5 pass yards, minus 114 FD. And let me get that going on my phone to lock that in quickly while I'm here. Would do it on stream, but those who know, I always have location issues whenever I'm streaming here, which is often very annoying. But I'm in love with JD5 in this one. He did such a great job last season without the weapons that he has this year, and he did miss a couple of big plays there last week, as well as some receiver drops. And I expect him to be ready for prime time here. The boosts are out on FanDuel, but I'm going to probably it's 50% boost. I'm actually going to use the 50% boost at some point tonight, realistically. I don't really want to wait until tomorrow where the value might be gone on certain bets where we could like capitalize on like a ton of EV here. Let me log into my DK quickly and see what we got for promos here. We have a no sweat for Thursday night, 40% for the week, so not for Thursday. So not even seeing Thursday specific boost there. Of course, you don't need to use the boost, but to capture some EV, always down. But JD5 locked and loaded for passing yards. But let's keep ripping. So I like JD5 a lot. And who's going to be the beneficiary of those yards? Terry looked gassed. I'm not going to lie here. He didn't. Let's see. I want to look at his like routes run and some of these things like that. I know he had a very poor reception game, only 2 receptions, but he didn't play all summer. You have to remember that he was doing the contract thing. Never love when a receiver is being a bit of a diva, but all receivers can be. Though Terry deserved his bag, and while he got it, the Commies still did a good job from a business standpoint because they didn't like cave into all of his demands. They actually gave him a deal that they could easily get out of if there are issues, but from like a eye-popping perception from just like pure numbers, it looks like it was a lot bigger than it was. And I think honestly, that's what they were going for, to kind of make him happy, also keep the cap in check. But regardless here, let's look at yards as well, just out of curiosity, because I want to know how many like routes he was running and whatnot. Rec yards, 55.5. Green Bay defense did a great job keeping things in front of them, but this Washington animal is a much different animal than the, Detroit Lions without a Ben Johnson. Like, we're talking about like a very vanilla Jared Goff, and we know what that looks like. We have data. It's not like Goff was like a rookie, and now we're seeing what happens, or a young player. So we still have Ertz, of course. Zacchaeus is gone. Noah Brown's still there. Eckler is giving weight to Bill, as we've seen. But Terry is getting a lot of love in the market here. We can see that movement. I want to check it out a little bit more in detail. So a massive drop here to about the 150 range for 55.5 receiving yards. Wow. And now we're sitting pretty stagnant at 55.5. Packers injury report. This is where things come into play. Bo Melton is out. There was more of a return guy. It's not even showcasing who's also out. Nate Hobbs, questionable from knee surgery. I'm sure he'd be out. Some DLI. So Micah's definitely going to play. Watson, we know, is out. But just not a good secondary. Like, really not a talented bunch whatsoever. And we already like JD5 to go over here. Terry, 33 passing plays, only got his 4 targets against the Giants. But the Giants did a great job trying to like bracket Terry. They know Terry's really killed them in the past, and they didn't want him to do that. I also did think Terry looked a little winded at certain points there. But plus 127 at Profit X. There is some EV here, so let's pull up the expected value for this play at Profit. So worst case scenario, fair value is plus 123. So it is a low EV play with full Kelly. Quarter Kelly. Oh, that's half Kelly. Let's go to quarter Kelly. 32% of bankroll, so a 0.32 unit play. If we add some different weights, so we can get FanDuel weighted in there, and that's going to give us a little bit more of a lower calculation. Let's also add some BOL. So fair for worst is plus 119. So Profit X showing a lot of value to Terry's over. As a lover of JD5 over receiving yards as well, I think this could be like the get Terry going game. I know the fans weren't so happy. I don't think Terry himself was like mad because 1, he never gets mad if the team is winning. And 2, it's just not a situation where he's like a true diva like that. But let's look at his targets. So we had 4 last game, but I want to take a look at last year and just kind of get more of a sense of where he was at. 7 targets, 6. Some games as high as 10, 12. Of course, it didn't have Debo. Debo did command a big target share. So let's take a look at some of Debo's numbers here. And also, not playing forever on Thursday night because we're going to be streaming all Thursday tomorrow with more plays locked in. But because one, I'm a Commanders fan, and two, do have a pretty strong thoughts on this one. Glad to spend a little bit more time here. But let's pull up Debo here. So 6.5 rushing yards. You know he's going to run that gadget kind of stuff. He did go over this quite easily last game with that tutty run. Though, how many rush attempts did he get? I think it was just 2. He had only 1. So he had this 1, and it was his touchdown. Okay. Thought they did do a little something to him. Maybe it was like a pop pass. B-Rob obviously gone. Bill commanding the backfield. JD5 did a great job on the ground when need be. But let's look at some of his receiving metrics, like 53.5. So the market's telling us that they aren't really sure what to do with the Terry Debo split just yet, because they're sitting at exactly this, basically the same number. Debo did jump in price as well. So we saw Terry's odds were his baseline for reception or receiving yards jump. We saw now Debo. We also saw JD5's passing yards. So glad to kind of get in on that. Ideally a little bit early here because this unit, this pass catching, or excuse me, this secondary unit is really not great for Green Bay. And like, yeah, they're going to get pressure, and JD5 can run away, but JD5 also makes plays off on the move. So Debo flew over this line in his first week with 4.5 recs. Again, Terry wasn't looking like himself, but again, JD5 did miss Terry big time. So I think it's a McLaurin game. This 4.5 receptions at Profit X. Let's pull it up here. If you guys are not also using Profit X, also an amazing exchange as well. A great prediction market. They have deep linking here. They do. And going over to Profit X here. Allow while visiting the site some location, of course. Plus 127. Only 269 in liquidity available. So not a ton in the market there, but I do want to take a look at the rest. So 126, 503. So 503 at these numbers. So it looks like this is the best price we'll get is 127, which it's a great number. It's just hard to get a lot of people down on this, but I think it's a Terry game. I think it's a Terry JD5. So I'll write it down as well. I'll call this more of like a lean, though JD5 is definitely a play, and we'll also again have tomorrow to come through and confirm. Terry McLaurin 5+ Rex plus 127. I think we'll see how that moves by the time we're on stream tomorrow, because I'm definitely intrigued by that from Terry. I think this is his time to shine. But let's flip the script here. We will take a look quickly at some more of Packer players. Let's just get the Packers in there as well. We'll stick to Packers, and I actually want to look at just Bill as well, because how could we not? Let's filter here. We'll get want to just keeping looking at what we're looking at. I want some Jaden too, because I'm curious what touchdown odds are, because I do think JD5 Tutty is more than live, but price will be the determining factor there. Tucker Kraft, Romeo. We know the Packers are this wide receiver by committee team, so you don't know who's going to be the guy who is scoring the touchdowns for them, or I should say accumulating the yards for them. We know that Josh Jacobs is their touchdown guy, scored in 10 straight, but who is going to get them to the red zone is always like a fun little game here. In the past, I would always target Washington's or the other teams won their wide receiver 1 or their wide receiver 3, because Washington would either have the worst cornerback in the league at 1 and get killed by number 1 receivers, or they would have a terrible cornerback 3. And if your team had a talented wide receiver 2 or 3, both of them would feast. That's not the case anymore. And we see this by these such low receiving yard numbers for Jaden Reed. Josh Jacobs rushing are 74.5. I think this is inflated already. This is definitely an under look to me. Let's see what some of the other lines are. Under 79.5 at Profit X. Let's pull up Profit X again one more time quickly here, because that looks like a great price. But if the liquidity doesn't match, $1,100. I like this a lot. If you're not using Profit X. Use promo code BetSmart to get started. As you can see, like it has all the aspects of a sports book, but it's a peer-to-peer exchange. It's a really great platform, and promo code BetSmart will get you some free profit cash if you do make a purchase on Profit X to get some cash. They have a different lingo than the books because they're not a sports book, but I think this is too high. We saw what the Commanders' rushing defense did. I know it's a different situation against the Giants. I know the Packers are run heavy, but I don't expect Jordan Love to just like dot up this Commanders secondary. I really don't. They're going to try to lead on the run. I think we could see an uglier game despite having two offenses, and this one is bumped up this way. But I think this is a fade, honestly. I'm writing this down. Josh Jacobs, U 79.5 rush yards -1. Let's check the price at 78.5 because if it's like closer to even odds, maybe that could be a little bit better. -103. I think we could take the extra yard here. Let's look at the EV here and 2 penny. There's good expected value here. Fourth Kelly. So I actually will take the 78.5 at -103. That is actually a better price. So I'm fading Josh Jacobs on the ground. In terms of touchdowns, we're going to have to wait until tomorrow for that stream. If I do have anything, you can also always DM me. I'll always give out what we got. All fun and games. But 3 plays I love for Thursday. Well, 4 plays. Commies plus 3.5, locked and loaded. JD 5 over passing yards, Terry over receptions, and Josh Jacobs under rushing yards. So let's I shouldn't have done that. I wanted to keep those props to keep our focus, the main focus here. We're going to switch up on games here, but I'll quickly get the props going. If I don't have anything I love, feel free to ask in chat about any games that you want to see or talk about specifically, but I'll have more context on players on stream tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday, and maybe Saturday I'll get a stream in. But definitely tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday we'll be streaming, and we'll be barraging plays. And if you guys were with us on Sunday or Monday, those are some fun ass streams, boys. We cooked. Hit a lot of really fun bets: 22-1, 12-1 parlay, bunch of touchdowns, bunch of game lines. And game lines went 5-1. That was awesome. Jags Bengals. Okay, so we know that the Bengals defense is swish cheese. They did play well against the Browns, but of course, that's a Browns situation there. They always do play. They always do play the Browns always play the Bengals well, so we all know it's all about the offense. But again, they're playing Joe Flacco and a bunch of rookies and David Njoku running to quicksand. So Joe Burrow won -185 on passing TDs. Not shocked there. BTJ held essentially totally in check. Only 1 reception. It's at 68.5 there. Burrow's yards are high. Not a game that I bet so far, though I was very close to market on my spread numbers here. So haven't locked anything in. But I got burnt by Lawrence rushing yards last week. But I do think I had over 15.5, 14.5. You had 12. Number's not 13.5. On B365, the best price. To get any other lines, 14.5 at Hard Rock already. Just curious if it's on any other books. So some of the books, again, it's Wednesday, so a little early. By the time we get to like midway through the season, we'll have odds for props by now. But books are keeping things close to their vest and doing what annoying sports books do at times. How many rush attempts did he have last game? He had 4. I don't know how many of those were kneel downs, though. That's obviously a very crucial part of it because those wouldn't count for our purposes. It actually do the opposite here. I think we can be in for a fun offensive game, and I think the Bengals will, I don't want to say get pressure, but I think that the Jags will look to run Lawrence more as the season goes on, and he is athletic. He has done it in the past, so I'm getting in on this early. I'm writing it down here for stream. Lawrence, 13.5 rush yards. -110. You got to always write down the odds, boys, because the price is the most important thing here. I'm waiting for FanDuel and DraftKings to drop. I'm unfortunately not in a 365 state, but this is great. And for anybody, if you guys are not using Outlier, do your research. 7-day free trial. if you scan the QR on the top right corner, or I can drop a link for the boys. Twitter doesn't see it, but if you're watching on YouTube, it should be in the description. But definitely take a look at Outlier and scanning that QR code. You're probably watching on your phones there, so it's tough. But if you're on your computer, scan that QR with your phone and explore Outlier. These hit rates are not scaring me whatsoever. These low rates. I think they didn't play last year. I thought they did. Maybe they did. Let's find out. Again, this data is not really that pertinent. I'm just like genuine. This is just genuine curiosity. I guess it wasn't last year, but the Trevor Lawrence rushing angles. I think Liam Cohen has talked about it all preseason. I know he did not rush a lot last week, or did he score a rushing touchdown? But I think he did have a red zone rushing attempt. Give me all the T-Law Tutty as well. 550 at DK. Let me cross-reference something on my end quickly, because I would be shocked if that's not a play. I know it's not widely available. It's not like on Circa yet or anything like that where we can devig from like a sharper book. But I find it hard to believe that this price will be here by Sunday, let alone tomorrow. So I'm gonna go and lock it on my phone really quickly here. Trevor Lawrence, Bengals, Jags, total 48.5. Cincy minus 3.5. TD score, Trevor Lawrence plus 550. Give me that. Locked and loaded. T-Law Tutty. I think that last week a lot of people knew the narrative, and because he didn't score, are probably going to be like, oh, like ignore it. I'm not forgetting that one. Much different situation here. Lawrence 240.5. This could be low. Didn't dice against Carolina, but it was the Travis Etienne back at you game. This number has actually dropped a ton, so maybe I'm off on market there. And because we could do that, let me actually pull up the touchdown odds movement. Do we have any data here? We do. DK opened at 475 and shot up, but there isn't a lot of books for it to like base its lines off of. DK trying to, do well for its customers by offering it early. But in our situation, I actually think that that's going to provide us just more value on. I don't think this closes 550 or better. I think it closes worse. And, if it happens, it happens. And touchdowns are volatile, so we'll see. But give me all of that there. Hunter, I'd live bet his over 50.5 receiving yards after lightning break. That did not get there. But I think he's going to be playing more defense. So it's really hard to touch Travis Hunter props currently just because he's playing more defense, which could impact his offensive production. We don't know what to really expect there for Hunter. Jamar, very high line, which is understandable. A line that he did pretty well with last year. Not so hot this year, but again, the Browns have always kind of done really well. Jim Schwartz's system has gotten to Joe Burrow and co. With that divisional stuff. So I'm intrigued by T here. Only 4 targets, which is very low. Cincy, of course, slinging that rock. Last year, Chase dominated, but T, of course, he did miss some time last year as well. I'm intrigued by T. I'm not going to lock it in, but I'm going to write down monitor T. So again, bets that we've taken: Commies plus 3.5, JD over 225.5 passing yards, Trevor Lawrence over rush yards, T-Law Tutty, Patriots money line, and the Chiefs money line. But let's move to the next one here. Again, streaming all week to finalize opinions and finalize plays, and I have everything written down so we'll know what we're standing at when it comes down to that time. So let's keep rocking. Rams Titans. Talked about this on Sunday or on Monday stream, which was also an amazing stream. Did some great bets. Shout out to Ty for hopping in. He'll be with me hopefully every Monday. So get used to that, boys. We hit JJ McCarthy anytime, and we hit Jordan Mason most rushing yards in the game. One was plus 550, the other was like plus 480 because we used the FanDuel boost. So humble flex for the boys there. I love Cam Ward. I think he's mad good. I think that he obviously was in one of the toughest situations you can be. A rookie quarterback in Denver against a Sean Payton defense. I know he's an offensive coach, but a veteran coached with a great defense. I think that this is actually a very it was a tough situation. I think he played really well, all things considered. But let's look at some of these receiving numbers here. Ridley, 49.5. So the Rams could be really good. I don't know if they are just yet. My numbers have them as pretty high. Some people I think that are smarter than I am are very high on them as well. So, I definitely defer to some people who know a little bit more ball than I do from a spreadsheet perspective, at least. 4 receptions on 8 targets. Of course, he's expected to be the king of the receiving of the target tree there. Not a ton of odds open currently. We got Lock at 16.5, only a Profit X though. So not a ton of stuff to work with here. So I'm going to move on. But from a market perspective, I think the Rams are probably a good survivor pick, but I'm not ruling out Mr. Cam Ward and the the Titans. Only 112 against Denver, unfortunately. They threw the ball 57% of the time. Number has jumped up a bit, meaning there is some market confidence, at least early in the week, from open on Cam Ward, though. Very limited book, so it is tough. So no issues there. I'm going to move on from this one, though. And again, we have all week, so stick with me all week long. Seahawks Steelers. I think I like Pittsburgh, man. I think Darnold is dog. I think he really benefited so much from KOC and that amazing offense that the Vikings run. Of course, the weapons they had, the genius of KOC. They did a really great job of making him look good, but I think he could be like Jets level bad again. Mike McDonald's a good coach, I think, but it's a defensive team. And this is a situation where I think actually the Pittsburgh Steelers might be a little bit better than I think. I don't think the Jets are good. And the fact they led so many, yards and points to them and basically should have probably lost that game is definitely concerning. But I think this Pittsburgh team's a little bit better than expected. But again, it's hard to get a gauge on who's going to be the guy. Not a ton of prop markets up yet, unfortunately. So holistically, numbers wise, I think this is a Steeler spot actually. Pittsburgh at home, Rodgers' first game with Tomlin at the crib, and I think that the Seahawks are honestly just not a team. Of course, they're traveling across country to play this game at 1 p.m. as well, which has never been a good sign for teams historically, though it is early in the season, so the numbers aren't as bad. Normally do get worse over the course of the season, but I'm on Pittsburgh here. Baltimore and the Browns. If you're a Ravens fan, man, I feel bad for you. I had a Ravens to close out a parlay, as I'm sure like 90% of chat probably did here. If you guys were a Bills backer, shout out to you. The second they did not get that first down and kick the ball back, I knew the game was over. Even when they were still up 2 scores, I knew Josh was coming and doing some dirty stuff to us. But Zay Flowers, man, okay, let's go right back to this number. I know it's a different matchup and Cleveland's a little bit more stingy, but I think that I think he's great, and I think that the Ravens know he's great, which they should. He's in that building every single day. Let's pull up Profit X here because they already have liquidity on this market. It's $236, man. Let's see if it moves. 120's 583. So at least there is some better liquidity there, though I don't love it as much. Let's see if there's any EV to be had here, or it's just not enough. Penny's not up yet for EV calcs. We'll check the EV screen toward the end here, but current lean. So if T yards is a lean, see how that matures. And again, we have 5 days of streams and bets to make, and we're going to capture value when we can. But Flowers yards, or Flowers Rex lean. I think they're going to feed the man often. I don't think last game was a fluke by any means. 7 catches. 6 targets, 9 targets, 7 catches. I don't think that's a fluke by any means. I think that they know that Zay, of course, a Pro Bowler last year. I think they know he's their dude, and they're going to continue to feed him. And then the books are going to have to adjust after this week when Zay Flowers is getting all the love that I think he deserves, man. I think he is a good football player, and he was a Pro Bowler last year, so it's not like it's a hot take anymore. I think that how good he is. I'm not saying he's a wide receiver 1 elite player. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I am saying he is more talented than some of these guys that we got going on here. Niners Saints, I was going to say, we'd be surprised if there's any props out because Purdy is likely missing this one. All we got some CMC and some Rattler. We'll say holistically that I think the Saints obviously expected to be terrible and aren't good, but I don't think they're going to be as horrible as like a Giants could be, a Dolphins could be, a Jets could be. I think that they're actually still like a pretty decent cohesive unit. Like their defense is still decent. Their offense is going to struggle. Now we saw Olave get hurt again, which you just hate to see. But I think or Carolina bad. I think that these Saints are going to be one of those teams that lose a bunch of games but cover a bunch of spreads. So we'll find out how that goes here. Giants boys. All right. So let me go to the games quickly here because I want to confirm that spread. Giants boys, it's 5.5 now, profit both ways. I have the best price there. Let's make sure though we have everything checked off here. We have Novig, we have Kalshi, Novig. Yeah, okay, so still best price of profit. Shout out to Profit X, great platform. This is a tough one from a pricing perspective, but I think the boys actually are much better than. I think what we saw on Thursday, I should say, is actually indicating that they are a good team. I think they do have some good guys on their DL that are underrated. DaRon Bland, though, out. That's going to be tough. And I think Russ actually also is better than he played in Washington. I think the Commanders did a hell of a job. And again, showcased why they're a great team. Because Commanders in the past would have blown that game. But even as a fan watching, I don't know if you guys caught it on Red Zone or were just watching as maybe a Giants fan or a Commies fan, there was really never a time where you felt threatened that they were going to lose that football game, which is not something you ever say frequently about a Commanders game. So all this going back to the actual matchup here, I think the Cowboys can actually definitely assert themselves as one of the better teams. And I think that they can get similar pressure, especially with the extra rest on Russ and make his life miserable again. Javonte Williams had those 2 tutties. A lot of options available here. Dak with the 1.5 passing TDs. The 142, he did not have any, but they were just running the rock in. Giants D-line still good, and the Cowboys O-line still sus. Though they didn't have to get exposed because Jalen Carter, of course, missed that whole game. And the pass rush for the Eagles is going to be a work in progress all year long. But let's see last year. Threw 2 against them last year. Not that it matters. Just curious. I'm intrigued by Dak passing tutties. Let's see how this has moved. Opened over at plus 106. No way. I saw that at open, man. Damn. I would have hammered that. Interesting. Still, again, not many. More books have this game actually up, which is great. DK showing value to Novig and Profit, or same price as Profit, actually. I'm intrigued by this. We saw a 61% pass rate. CD was dropping some passes. Dak was laying dimes. Jakes Ferguson dropped that tutty where he got smoked in the end zone for a Philly penalty, which set up a running TD. I'm writing this down as a potential play here. Dak, pass, TDs, lean. I think Dak can cook. I think this game could be a little bit higher scoring with the injury to DaRon Bland, the Giants defense still being bad, and Russ being able to potentially take some advantage of some of these matchups here. But it could be a situation where he's getting mauled all game and Jackson Dart's coming out. But quick thoughts here again, all stream all week where we can go in more detail. But right now, lean in Dak. Bills Jets. Definitely like the Jets at the 7. 6 it's gone now. I don't think it pops back up here. I think the Bills defense is Swiss cheese, and Justin Fields is my GOAT. As on stream Sunday, if you guys were there, we hit Justin Fields 2+ tutties, 22-1. That was awesome. Cat's a little bit out of the bag there. Let's see. I think Justin Fields has shown a lot of maturity as like a passer as well. And I think the Bills defense is bad. I think that GW is still the cream of the crop here. And I think that he had the 95 yards. I think, let's see, like last year, went over this number easily, of course, different situation. Give me the GW. Only at Hard Rock at MGM right now. But lean G, dub O, rack yards. I think this number is too low for a guy of his talent. And I think that Fields is actually a improved passer. It's crazy to say because I'm not saying that he's now like a top tier quarterback or a top tier passer, but I do think the Bills defense is actually that terrible. And I do think that Fields has shown a lot of maturity. And I think that this goes back to the whole Caleb Williams situation where it's like he doesn't look like he's developing at all. I know it's, new system, new coach, year 2. Justin Fields, of course, has a more mileage under his belt in the National Football League, but I think Justin Fields has shown more from a developmental standpoint than Wilson has, or Williams has it all. I think that's too low, but Breece Hall, 55.5. Cut the shit, man. Write that one down. If I had a Hard Rock, I'd be betting this right this second. I don't have either of these books, unfortunately. Hall. Oh, rush yards. I think the Bills' defense is Swiss cheese. Short week. Divisional game. Jets always play Allen well, though. New coaches, a new system with Aaron Glenn, defensive-minded coach. Obviously, the Jets are no Ravens, and Fields is no Lamar. But GW is better than Zay Flowers. Breece Hall's not Derrick Henry. Breece Hall's a dog, and we saw that in week 1. If those two numbers stick, man, I'm writing down the actual numbers, 55.5, just so we have a reference for tomorrow where we lock in on stream, or Friday or Sunday. Intrigued. Let's keep it going here. Patriots offense. I bet the Patriots money line. I love it. Tua pass yards. I know the Patriots defense is not good. But I don't expect the Dolphins to just turn it around, man. I think they're dumpster fire bad. That was what they were doing was horrific, absolutely horrific. Like even last year, let's go head to head. Just out of curiosity, at home did kill them, but this is when the Patriots were like dead. I think we've seen the end. We see this already move down three yards here. Let's look at the other books and see where they're at. Profit. DraftKings 234.5 minus 111. I'm betting this now. Excuse me, boys. So I'll confirm it's here on the computer here. Logged in DK on my phone. I always have location problems. I bet T-Law Tutty on my phone. Yeah, I'm betting this under. I think it's OVO XO. I know Gonzalez is out. I know the Patriots are still not a good team just yet, but I think that this is a bit ridiculous here. Just bet Tua is under. I'm in, boys. I think that is a kind of ridiculous number for Tua. I think that he's cooked. I think the Dolphins are terrible, and I don't know what else to say. I really think they're that bad, genuinely. And I've been saying this preseason, so I hope, I know this is overreaction week, and maybe I've egg on my face. I've been wrong about a bet before. I will be wrong about a bet again, or a read, I should say. But let me write this down. Tua, if the market moves against me, I'll live with it. That's one of the pros and cons of betting early is like you get a great number, you sit that tight and you're chilling. You get a bad number and you have to live with the consequences per se, though I wouldn't really call them consequences. Let's see here. Add this to the bet slip so I can just get this link shared here. Another amazing feature of Outlier, this deep linking and the generating links. You can share links for parlays, any bets that you want. And all the research we're clearly doing is through Outlier, and it's an amazing tool. 7-day free trial. If you scan that QR code in the top right corner, 7-day free trial for Outlier.bet, an amazing tool. And we have Lawrence TD plus 550, DK as well. Let me just pull that one back up quickly just so I can get that link. I could drop the links in the chat for YouTube if you guys are watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, man. I'm streaming all the time. I have a bunch of short form content there, a bunch of really exciting long form content coming out. So if you're watching on X, head on over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button after stream. It'd be greatly appreciated. We're building a lot of really great stuff here for the Go Bet Smart platform. Tool reviews, amazing stuff there. all sports betting focused content, focusing on the niche, the sports betting tool niche. There's a lot of amazing technology out there. Outlier.bet being one of the leaders, one of the highest rated tools on the site, as you can tell by all the amazing research that we're doing here. Awesome. Let's move on there. I Patriots money line. I think Tua's long dead and gone. Bears Lions. So wonder if there are props yet. Couple. I'm out on Caleb, man. I've been out on Caleb. Gibbs, of course, saw a bunch of targets. This is a game where I really I don't know. I think this could be another dead under game. And the Lions could be a dead under team. And I don't know what to expect from either O just yet, honestly. So I'm gonna shelve this one. Can talk about it more on stream, and I have better opinions on these games, but I actually am I'm out on both of those offenses. I think that could be a dead under kind of game. I know that the Monday night game's looking like a dead under. Vikings came back and won, but I have so much more confidence in the Vikings offense, even with an unknown rookie with Kevin O'Connell, than I do with what the Lions are putting out there, and of course, on what the Bears are doing. Because some capacity, brothers, that's just outright embarrassing what they're doing. All right, Panthers, Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a safe survivor pick. They're going to be a very heavy survivor team this year, or this week, I should say. I know in those situations you want to buck the trends and not be backing what the consensus is backing. But I think it is a good Cardinals spot. I don't think the Cardinals are like great, but I do think they're a playoff team, and I do think the Panthers are still a year away from being a year away. Bryce Young looks terrible. I'm expecting to see some good stuff from him, but no. I'm not a big Kyler guy, but I do think that those passing TDs, plus 120 at MGM, is intriguing. Plus 120, though. Where's Mr. Connor? Any touchdown odds yet for James? I saw him sneaking up there. Profit, DK as well, 155. So nothing like bettable. That's showcasing what it's expected. They played last year, no? They did. Connor did score. Carolina did win that game. I remember now. That was when, again, Bryce looked good, but like, I know new and reinvigorated Jacksonville, but you would have wanted Bryce to really play better. Like, he played like crappy. Back to what we were seeing where he was like unplayable. And while the Cardinals did get a little bit lucky to beat the Saints, like I mentioned, I think the Saints are going to be a team that's covering spreads and is doing a good job of keeping games close, and it's going to be a well-coached team with a better defense. So I'm not so shocked to see them go into the Superdome and like lay a little bit of an egg there and rely on some like support and not play a great game. But I think Arizona's a safe survivor pick this week. Broncos, Colts. Danny Dimes shocked the world, but guess what? It didn't shock your boy Eric, because Danny Dimes touchdown, did not have the two. If I had the Danny Dimes and Justin Fields two-legger TD parlay, that would have fed families. But I did have one touchdown for Danny Dimes. That beauty cashed. Not shocked to see him play well in the Steichen offense with the good weapons the Colts have, and with an offensive line that could help him a little bit. Not as good as, not a great OL at all, but they did play a Dolphins team that I think is dog water. Bo Nix looked terrible. Colts always do a little bit better at home, and I do think Steichen, again, is a good head coach. So I think the move to 2.5 is warranted. I saw the 3.5 earlier in the week. I do wish I jumped on Colts plus 3.5. I'm gonna evaluate this one, I think, from the sideline for now, because this is a defense that could absolutely make the Colts get shredded. They could throw tremendous amounts of unique type of pressures at Daniel Jones where he looks god awful, and I would not be surprised if that's the case. To be honest with you, I would not be surprised if the Denver DL, their secondary, which is infinitely better than the Dolphins secondary, makes Daniel Jones look like the Daniel Jones we know and love. And know and love means turn the hell out of the football over, fumbles, interceptions, bad decisions. I do trust Steichen to put him in better situations like he did last week and like he's done as a good head coach. But all in all, so far nothing on this one for me, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a comeback to earth game for a Colts team expected to be bad, Broncos team expected to be good. Finish up here with the 3 primetime games after arguably the best game on the slate, in my opinion. Actually, probably the best game on the slate. I think it's gonna be the most entertaining game. Will be Commies Packers. Like, I know it's Thursday, so it is a little could lead to some ugly football, as short weeks often do. But you're telling me about 2 of the best teams in football right there. Yeah, you have 2 of the best teams in football here, but don't sleep on my Commies, man. And everyone loves the Packers this year, and it's warranted on both sides. But Eagles Chiefs, I took the Chiefs money line. Mahomes is an underdog. I signed a contract actually with myself that Patrick Mahomes is ever an underdog. I'm betting on him. I bet him as a live dog all game on Friday. Of course, that wasn't nice. Bet him as a live dog all game in the Super Bowl. Of course, that wasn't nice. But 2 years ago, when they made that run from the wild card spot, I had a 10-1 ticket on the Chiefs to win, which was available as the playoffs were starting, by the way. But digression aside, I'm still taking my GOAT. Anytime there's a plus sign next to his name and his team's name at home, Andy Reid, the extra week, extra day to game plan. I think I said this. I broke down this game earlier on stream, so I see a lot of people coming in. So I'm not going to give the whole analysis over again, but I did bet the Chiefs. I think the extra day does benefit them more. I know they're traveling from Brazil, but I think they were also caught by surprise with how Greg Roman and Mr. Harbaugh ran that offense with Herbert. And I'm excited to talk some LAC shortly because, damn, that was impressive. And damn, did I upgrade the Chargers immensely, not to overreact. But if they let Herbert sling the rock like that, man, they're good. But focus on the main thing. They're going to definitely try to get A.J. Brown a little bit more involved. But the Chiefs are definitely going to do a good job trying to shut him down. Let's pull up some Super Bowl stats out of curiosity here. KC shut him down the Super Bowl. We know that was the Quan game. He didn't need A.J. Brown to be like A.J. Brown. Always a fan of Smitty. I'm actually, let's see if there's anything Smitty related here. 4.5 recs. Like, the Eagles are just going to run. They got Tank Bigsby, which I don't think impacts things too much. But I do think he will get like 5 carries a game if they do just continue to lean on this 56% run rate, which you got Quan. Why would you ever switch that up? Quan didn't have a typical Quan game, though he did score a tutty in that game against Dallas. But you know that with the extra, rest or I shouldn't say rest, but the extra time to prepare, because it was the opener that locker room said, Mike is gone, boys. All we're doing is stopping Saquon. And yeah, they ended up inadvertently also stopping A.J. Brown and co. But what do we have here? Yeah, Will Shipley's gone. I mean, they traded for Tank. Enough said there. 60 rush yards in the debut. Ran the ball 18 of those 38 times. Jalen Hurts, of course, ran in some tutties. This would open this high. Holy crap. Open this up for me. Damn, 96.5. Bet down tremendously. And I'm not shocked by that by any means. I think that's more than warranted. That is a crazy number, man. I know it's Quan, but in a matchup like this, I don't think that is a I'm not shocked to see that go down tremendously. 87.5 might be a little too low now. 18 rushy attempts there. Let's go look at Hurts. I'm curious to see what Hurts did from that side. 43.5 in the Super Bowl. He had those 72. Had 62 against Dallas. Chiefs do a good job against rushing yards to QBs, but in that Super Bowl, he had 11 rush attempts, 14 against Dallas. I think the Chiefs will do a good job against AJB. I know people are gonna be clamoring for the Birds to get AJB more involved. I am gonna move on from this one because I don't have enough of a thought. But now that I say that, I'm all in on Quan receiving yards. We saw it last week, 24 receiving yards. He had 3 targets. He did drop. He had 5 targets, 4 receptions. He did drop an easy one as well. Saquon is so damn talented. And I know he's been labeled kind of as not this great receiving back, which I think is a little bit nutty here. 2.5 plus 122 is great. He had 4, as we know. But that line is so long. When a guy with Quan's capabilities to just break one, I might bet that right this second. Where's Rec Yards? What do we got here? MGM, unfortunately limited over at MGM. But let's see what we got here. Only Prize Picks. Yeah, if you have MGM or if the 365, of course, bet it there. I'm not in 365 state here, but MGM minus 115, I'll call that more widely available. Though, again, if you have the 365, I am clamoring to bet that. Let's confirm its availability in market right now. But, yeah, as you saw, we have the commies here. Yeah, give me all that. Give me all of that. I'm going to add that to BetSlip. I'm going to share so I have the link for myself. Saquon over receiving yards. Give me all of that. B365. Beautiful. Give me all the Saquon. I think that's way too low. He can Super Bowl at 40. I know, again, he doesn't come off as this big receiving threat, but I think that's foolish. I think they do lean on him more in the receiving game. He is absolutely a capable catcher. Market dropped on him, but then went back up. So there was some resistance there over the course of the day, and I think this does close higher. I'm a fan of Quan in the receiving game. I think that this is too low for a guy this talented, plays this many snaps. But gives you all the Chiefs money line, of course. Final 3 games: Falcons, Vikings. Got to confirm about London and Mooney. Looks like London will give it a go. I would look to fade that number. I know that Penix did have a lot of receiving yards, though a lot of that did come from Bijan's catch and run. I'm high in Atlanta, but I'm now tempering my expectations. Let's just say was high on them coming into the season. Of course, Younghoe Koo missed that kick, and there was no way that shit was going in, man. Unfortunately, wanted it to and would have loved for it too, but did not come through, unfortunately. McCarthy, I'm intrigued by. You guys can roast me in chat. I fell asleep. I had my phone. I was watching the game on my phone. And next thing I know, I wake up. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. My phone's down on the floor. Finally charge it, and I check the stat line. Saw the Vikings won. I saw Mason. So I didn't even see Jay McCarthy's touchdown run. So I hit 2 beautiful bets that we bet on stream together on Monday. Not Saquon. JJ anytime tutty and Jordan Mason to lead the game in rushing, and I missed both of them cash because my soft ass fell asleep, unfortunately. So you guys feel free to roast me there, but I don't know what to make of McCarthy, man. He looked so bad in the first half. 143 passing yards, sure that pick 6, but he willed them to a dub, man. They ran in that tutty. Did not watch enough of the all-22 to get a better feel, though I did see enough of the highlights of Caleb stinking all over X, so I didn't need to do any more evaluations there. I saw those missed throws and all that nonsense from C-Dub, but hate to go through this one too quickly, unfortunately, but don't have a strong enough opinion or feel, but I am curious to see how the Vikings and Falcons do play out there. The market did move a little bit. We'll see if London and Mooney play. But Buccaneers, Texans, I didn't bet it yet, but I am a big fan. I'll pull up the odds quickly, make sure that they're still relevant here. And again, bet commies plus 3.5. Patriots on the money line, Chiefs on the money line, and haven't bet anything else from a game line perspective, but quick run through while I'm here of gun to heads because I did run my numbers. But I do want to see some injury reports for betting. Commies and under. These are gun to heads. I'll say play or gun to head. Play, gun to head under. Gun to head for both. Bears plus 6, under 46.5, which is probably, if I get a 47, we'll play, but it looks unlikely. Played Patriots plus 108, guns ahead under. Guns ahead Jets plus 6.5. If I do get a 7, would love that. Guns ahead over. I think that this Bills defense is horrible. I think they are a short week, but I think Josh Allen, it's impossible to not say as many good things as possible about him, as much as I'm still Team Lamar. Guns ahead Dallas and over. Guns ahead Niners still no Purdy and under. Guns ahead Browns and under. Guns ahead Steelers and under. Guns ahead Titans and under. Guns ahead Jaguars and over. Guns ahead. Oh, it's not the 1.5. Now at this point, I definitely think it's a Denver spot on the money line, honestly. I'm not going to bet it right this second here. Got to rerun my numbers and see what I'm missing and see how some of the other books move. But Guns ahead, Denver money line, not the 1.5. Just play me the money line now. And under, guns ahead, Arizona and over. Guns ahead. I mean, it played the Chiefs, so not guns ahead, but guns ahead here as well with an under. Guns ahead here. Vikings and under here now. Texans -2.5 or Tampa +2.5. This is at Kalshi, the 127. I'm curious what the rest of the market is because I'm interested in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a dog. I don't know how anybody watched Houston and thinks that things are going to change. And I know that Tampa didn't play like a clean game. They find ways to win, man. And that 126 at FanDuel is really appetizing. Let's confirm its availability quickly here with Outlier. JD5 passing yards we talked about as a good play. I bet this earlier as well. But I love Tampa Bay here. Love as in, like, I haven't bet them yet, so take that with a grain of salt. But they're on my short list. I'll see how the markets move, and we'll talk about it more on stream tomorrow through the rest of the weekend. But I will definitely like to play that. I am a fan of Tampa here. Back to the props. There's nothing available, but again, I just think Houston has so many problems offensively. Their O-line is bad. Defense is still good. I'm still in on the Baker Mayfield being a good player. But I do think that the closest thing to my card currently is Buccaneers money line. Yet to play, but I'll keep you boys posted. And, of course, like I said, we'll talk about it on stream for the rest of the week. But last but not least, Chargers Raiders. Not a ton of props out yet, so we're not going to find anything here. But if Herbert is slinging the ball like he did, this is a steal. So I might have spoke too soon. Another bet that I just reminded myself, Josh Jacobs under 78.5 rushing yards, -103 at Profit X, also on my list, as well as Trevor Lawrence over 13.5 rush yards. This is available. I think that, I wouldn't be shocked if Greg Roman just switches back to running the football like out of the blue, which would just be like ridiculous. Like, for example, like Dallas, they played like no man coverage last week, and that's when you play such an extreme like that. It's obviously a game plan over their season-long plan. It's very possible that was just their game plan for the Chiefs. But considering all the talk Harbaugh's done about making Herbert a Hall of Famer, me always being Team Herbert and never doubting, even with the playoff nonsense and some of those L's that he took and whatnot, I love this play. I think they continue to let him sling the rock. Of course, it doesn't mean throw passing touchdowns as they could come up short, but I think the Raiders offense is Raiders defense, I should say, is still not good. Like, I think the matchup was great against New England. I had Raiders money line last week, which was one of the +130s that we hit. But I think this is a great bet, honestly. And do a quick run through of the positive expected value. I have some DVIG methods cooked up already, some filters. Can gladly on another stream go through them individually, but let's see where we're seeing some EV on the over/under on the Monday night. Haven't done enough analysis to like confirm. They're showing EV here, but I just don't agree. With football, it's a lot different than if you're betting. Like, obviously, you want to find EV and everything, kind of always buy on the EV hill, but like my numbers are off there. My numbers are also off here. My numbers are on point, but I'm mad I missed a 3. Here, guns ahead, give me the Chargers to cover the spread. I like Denver. I like Dallas. Under so low, but I do think they're two like under teams. I do like the under. I could see this being a low scoring. I'm out on New Orleans and Seattle. I'm out on as well. So let's switch filters here to props and see where we find. I'm sure there'll be a few more available here. I'm showing a minimum of 0.75%. So one left completions under. I already like that. Jaden Reed overs. Love passing attempts under again. That's completions. I was going to say what? This is at Profit X. I'm going to open Profit X actually. Look at the liquidity quickly while we're here. We might as well, right, boys? 632. So there's a lot of liquidity at Profit X. This is, from an EV perspective, this is definitely worth taking a look at. From my DVIG methods, at least I have my filters, DVIGing to Penny and Bookmaker, DVIG method, worst case, Quarter Kelly, minimum 0.75, only NFL. Josh Jacobs receptions under, Terry over, which we were looking at and definitely considered playing. Terry under tutties, which I don't disagree with, honestly. Jacory, Krosky, Merced, shout out to Bill. Merritt, I should say, excuse me. So most of the EV is for this Monday night games, Thursday night game. So we'll be streaming tomorrow, pre-Thursday night, to use all of the boosts and everything that we have to make sure we maximize that. But what a stream, boys. Thank you all for hopping in. Again, recap of plays that I locked in. Tua under 234.5 passing yards, -111 DK. Trevor Lawrence, touchdown, plus 550 DraftKings. Saquon over 13.5 receiving yards, -110 B365. Herbert, 2+ passing TDs, -105 MGM. JD5 over 255.5 pass yards, -114 FanDuel. Terry McLaurin, 5+ receptions, +127 Profit X. Josh Jacobs under 78.5 rushing yards, -103 Profit X. And Trevor Lawrence over 13.5 rushing yards, -110. Thank you, boys, for hopping in. And also shout out to Outlier.bet. All the research done right in front of your face on Outlier.bet, an amazing tool. EV, boost analysis, also some arbitrage as well. Player prop and game line research. It's really an all-in-one sports betting tool and one of the better ones that I've used. So much data. It's so easy to find, use, and also help you make better sports betting decisions and do your own research. So scan the QR code in the top right to use my link for Outlier. If you guys want to DM me for that, I appreciate it. But you get a 7-day free trial for utilizing Outlier. And then I have 3 pricing tiers. They have their Premium, Premium Plus, and Pro, which gets you the suites of all things you see here: real-time odds, EV, arbitrage, boosts, middles, player prop research, game line research. So thank you guys for hopping in. I'll see you all on stream tomorrow. Have some big announcements coming on X with some fun stuff we're doing at BetSmart. So subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow if you're on Twitch. If you're on Twitter, hit that follow button at GoBetSmart, or I'd really appreciate if you go to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. But if not, boys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night.